Hello once again and welcome back to the channel. Dominance, Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in today's episode, West Tigers sign rugby union back, Raider Williams leaves with immediate effect, and it's NRL results day 1 as we see Thursday's game between the Dragons versus Rabbitohs. I'll bring you the results and the scorers, as well as Friday's games between Manly Seagulls, North Queensland Cowboys, as well as Melbourne Storm and Brisbane Broncos. And we begin today's recording with the news that halfback Sam Williams has left his boyhood club Canberra Raiders with immediate effect, but he's leaving them on good terms. He says he is departing the club to give younger players every opportunity in first grade and reserve grade rugby league. Williams, who has had more than 100 appearances for the Raiders across 3 spells, says he's garnering interest from both home and abroad. The Australian previously spent 2 seasons in Super League with Catalan's Dragons in 2014 and Wakefield Trinity back in 2017. He said there is opportunities over here in Australia and overseas in the Super League, but it's a decision that me and my family have to make, whether or not it's something we want to pursue. I'm lucky in that sense that my body has held up pretty well over the years, and that I'm not moving on because I can't get out of bed or go training anymore. I don't want to say it's the end, but if there's an opportunity we want to do as a family, then we will look to do that too. Canberra Raiders have had Williams in their ranks and has played 103 games for the Raiders, as well as 4 for the St. George-Illawarra Dragons, and he said it's his time to leave the club. I'm at the point where the club is in a really good position moving forward, especially in the halves. I didn't want to stay around and stop a younger player coming through the system being able to get game time, whether that is in the reserve grade or first grade. I think it's important that we're all given the opportunity to try and secure a deal going forward, and I know that I'm leaving the club in a really good place. As a squad, we're really in a good position and we've got a lot of depth. It is never easy, but I think it would have been selfish for me to keep playing for the rest of the year and prevented someone else from having that opportunity. Williams made his first debut for Canberra Raiders in 2011 against the Cronulla Sharks in round 1 of the 2011 season, due to injury sustained by then Canberra Raiders first choice halfback Matt Orford. He played until 2014, where he moved to St. George-Illawarra for 4 games, but that period was cut short with a move to Catalan's Dragons for 12 games, where he scored 4 tries and 21 goals. He moved back to Canberra in 2015 after the season ended in the Super League, and Canberra Raiders were beneficiaries of that signing when he played 24 games and scored 4 tries and 1 drop goal during the 2015 and 2016 season. Wakefield Trinity next came calling again to play 24 games. This time, he scored 6 tries and kicked 26 goals. His last period with Canberra Raiders was between 2018 and today, and has played 37 appearances, scored 8 tries, kicked 32 goals and 4 drop goals. West Tigers have now announced an incoming, as they're delighted to announce young outside back Tristan Riley to the club. The 23-year-old from New South Wales is returning to rugby league after spending the past couple of seasons playing union for the New South Wales Waratahs and Randwick. He burst onto the rugby scene as an 18-year-old, making his Rugby Sevens debut for Australia just a year after graduating from St Joseph College in Hunters Hill. Riley has a very strong league pedigree, having represented Newcastle Knights in the Harold Matthews tournament and South Sydney in the SG Ball, before crossing over to the Rugby Union Code. He joins the club on a training trial deal for the rest of the season before moving into the club's 30-man roster in 2023 and 2024. Coach Brett Camorley says Trishan looks good in the first field session. He's been away from our game for a little while but looked sharp in training. Although joining us from rugby union, he has a very strong league background. Riley himself has been impressed with what he's seen in his first week at the club, expressing he's really happy to be back in rugby league. And he did enjoy his time in union, but it's great to be back in rugby league. I've only been here a day or two, but there is a really good feel about the place. Everyone has made me feel so welcome. Now I plan to knuckle down and do my very best. We move on to the NRL in this part of the video as we see 3 games played from the last 2 days, Thursday the 16th of June and Friday the 17th. The first game of the weekend was the St George-Illawarra Dragons versus the South Sydney Rabbitohs. The Dragons' loss to the Cowboys has left them in a precarious position on the edge of the 8th, with clashes against the Rabbitohs, Raiders and Broncos being in their next 3 games. A string of penalties and 6 against calls cost the Dragons in the first half in Townsville, and the game was as good as gone when they trailed 20 points to 6 at the break against the North Queensland Cowboys, where they lost 31 points to 12 on Friday the 10th of June. The Rabbitohs took care of business on the Gold Coast, with Alex Johnson continuing his try-scoring golden run, and Blue Star Damien Cook and Cam Murray digging deep on the backup from their Origin opener. Playing in front of a Wollongong faithful is a huge plus for the Dragons, but they will need to control the ball and build pressure if they are to reverse the 24 points to 12 loss against the Bunnies in round 5. And with that, here is the team news. The St George Illawarra Dragons are 1-17 with no late changes to the squad named early, in the middle of last week. Michaeli Ravalawa makes his return from a hamstring injury that kept him out of the Red V's last 3 matches, so Jonathan Rubin makes way. Matt Fagia returns from illness on the left wing, so Toto Moga goes out. Jaden Sewer moves into the starting side and Jack DeBellin pushes up to the front row, so Francis Molo goes back to the bench, while Josh Maguire is out. For the Rabbitohs, just one change to the team that beat the Gold Coast, with Blake Taft joining the bench and Peter Mamazoulis dropping to the reserves. Superstar fullback Latrell Mitchell will miss the match under the NRL's COVID protocols, and the Rabbitohs reported on Monday Mitchell was back in training after contracting COVID on his return from America, but he will not be available until round 16. A special mention must go out to St George hooker Andrew McCulloch, as he has been named to start in the game. Plus, it is his 300th NRL game, the 44th player to pass that mark in the NRL's history, so congratulations to him, and long may he continue to rack up the games. So 300 must be the Dragons' luckiest number, as they went out to 32 points to 12 victors to move into the top 8 for the first time for a few rounds. Only for the time being mind, as well as results may go the other way. So it was a one-way traffic in both halves, to be honest, as the Dragons led 32 points to 0 at half-time. Ben Hunt followed up his kick into the backfield of the Rabbitohs defence to get on the end of a Zach Lomax pass back on the inside to open the scoring on the 4th minute. And Lomax added the extras for a 6-0 lead. Michaeli Ravalawa broke a 5-game no scoring drought to score his first try of the game, which was followed up by Jack de Belling getting over catch, being the grateful recipient of a call for Cody Walker being offside and him not putting the effort into tackle. Ravalawa scored his second in the game. We're only going at 18th minute at this point, and the Dragons are scoring more than a point a minute, which Lomax converted for his third conversion of the game. Moses Suley scored on the 23rd minute. The very impressive Suley caught a Hunt kick to go in on the 23rd minute before Cody Ramsey ran over on the 26th minute for the lead. 3 minutes before half time, Talota Amon was sin-binned for the Dragons after he attempted to tackle a South support man twice without the ball. The Rabbitohs woke up in the second half after Damien Cook scored on the 57th minute and Cameron Murray also getting over on the try line on the 61st minute. Cody Nikorima converted both goals, but it wasn't enough for the Rabbitohs, and today's was the Dragons and Andrew McCulloch's day in this 32-12 victory. We move on to Friday's fixture card as the Manly Seagulls host the North Queensland Cowboys, with the Cowboys sitting comfortably in third place on the ladder with 10 wins as they continue their remarkable revival from last year's disastrous 15th place finish. Todd Payton's men have won 5 from 7 away games in 2022, so a trip to Manly's spiritual home shouldn't faze them. Although a loss of young guns Helium Lukey for the season presents a significant challenge after relatively injury-free run in their season to date. The Seagulls have had their own setbacks with superstar Tom Trbojevic and workhorse Carl Lawton gone for the season, but Des Hasler won't make any excuses if his team misses out on the finals for the second time in 3 years. With Hamoli Olakawatu and Josh Alawai leading the way up front, the Seagulls were way too good for the Tigers on Sunday, and they were looking to carry that momentum into 2 huge games against the Cowboys and then the Storm, both in front of the Four Pines faithful. Here are the expected teams less than 24 hours out. So, the Seagulls skipper Daly Cherry Evans is back after missing the Tigers game with a quad injury, so Kieran Foran shifts back to 5'8". Josh Schuster goes to the bench and Ben Trbojevic into the reserves. Tanela Paseka is the 18th man, and there was no changes to the squad on Thursday when it was trimmed to 19 members. The Cowboys' Maroon star Ruben Cotter is back on deck at prop, so Cohen Hess reverts to the bench. Jeremiah Nane also returns after an ankle injury suffered in Origin 1 keeps him out of the Dragons game. Nane replaces Tom Gilbert, who is out with an eye injury. Lukey's knee injury ended his season, so Connolly Lemuelu moves into the starting side. No changes to the squad as well for the Cowboys when they trimmed it back 24 hours before kickoff. And what an epic at Four Pines Park we got, as it was the Cowboys who came away with the win, 28 points to 26. The game started with Manly going over first, with Christian Tuipulotu going over on the 8th minute, before Ruben Garrick scored on the 24th minute for the Seagulls. Valentine Holmes responded and kicked, but it was 10 points to 6 at half-time to the Sea Eagles. Jeremiah Nane was the first player over the try line in the second half for the Cowboys, which Val Holmes added the extras to, before Tuipulotu and went over on the 48th minute. In the seesawing game, Lachlan Croker scored a double on the 61st and 64th minute, with Ruben Garrick converting both tries. But in the grandstand finish, we see Reece Robson, Connolly Lemolu on the 73rd minute, and then Valentine Holmes putting the gloss on a victory with 2 conversions as well to finish the scoring at 28 points to 6. To slow the game down, Cohen Hess went to the bin on the 79th minute and did enough to help the Cowboys come away with the win. And Friday's games come to a close with the Melbourne Storm facing the Brisbane Broncos. The Broncos have been a revelation in 2022, but face a stern test of their premiership credentials when they confront one of the NRL's benchmark teams on their own patch. After winning just 7 games last season, 3 the year before, Brisbane have already chalked up 9 wins this year on the back of Adam Reynolds' poise and the power of Pat Carrigan and Payne Haas. But they'll have to make do without their skipper at the AAMI Park after he injured his ribs against Canberra. The Storm were pushed all the way by the Roosters on Saturday, but found a way to win, even with 3 players following up from the Origin and Xavier Coates sidelined by an ankle injury. The Broncos also overcame adversity to stave off a determined Canberra side at Suncorp Stadium, to again highlight just how far they have come from their horrors of the 21 and 2020 campaigns. So who have the sides named? Well, the Storm have star fullback Ryan Papenhuyzen set to return from a hamstring injury that sidelined him since round 9, but a positive COVID test ruled him out on Wednesday, meaning Nick Meaney remains at fullback for at least another week. Jack Howarth has been named as Papenhuyzen's replacement in the 22, and no further changes were from the squad that was trimmed 24 hours before kickoff. Tyrone Wishart is the 18th man. Skipper Adam Reynolds will miss the game with a rib injury, paving the way for Tyrone Roberts to play his first game since round 1. Katoni Staggs returns after missing a Raiders win after a caught shoulder suffered in Origin 1, and Brenko Lee holds his place in the centres, with Herbie Fowler sidelined for the foreseeable with a bicep injury. Maroons winger Selwyn Cobbo is back on deck, so Jordan Pereira goes to the 18th man position. Kurt Capewell returns in the back rows, so TC Rabati goes to the reserves. Jake Turpin joins the bench in place of the injured Corey Pikes, who has a knee problem. Payne Haas has been named to play despite hurting his shoulder against the Canberra Raiders. And it is the Storm that comes away with the victory, winning 32 points to 20, despite it being 16 points all at half time, thanks to some great work from the hard-working Broncos. The Storm took the lead when Tui Kamikamacha scored on the 8th minute with Nick Meaney converting. It was Corey Oates who was next over the try line with his first try of the game, which was followed up quickly by his second on the 24th minute, which was converted by Katoni Staggs for a 10 points to 6 lead before Cameron Munster scored on the 34th minute. Meaney converted that one, but Jerome Hughes went over on the 38th minute to seemingly give a half-time lead to the Storm. Selwyn Cobbo scored on the 26th minute, with Katoni Staggs knocking over a fantastic touchliner, one that went from left to right, to just over the posts on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side even. You have to see it on Twitter to believe it. I can't even give it justice with my description. The Storm came out in the second half with Dean Aramaya scoring twice on the 56th and 63rd minute, with Nick Meaney only converting the second Aramaya try, before Jerome Hughes scored his second for the game on the 74th minute, which Meaney added the extras. Meaney missed a penalty in the meantime, so the lead could have been a little bit further on. The final points of the game went to Ezra Mam as he went over for the Broncos in the 77th minute. And that's it for another episode. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as click the notification bell to get any updates on new videos coming your way first. Tell me what your thoughts are of today's episode. Sam Williams, is he the good guy of the year for Rugby League, letting the youngsters come through? Or has he set sail for pastures new? Has the decision already been made? I hope it's the latter than the former, because we need more people that are unselfish in Rugby League, willing to give up something so that they can help either a player, club or league grow. Next, we have a rugby union convert going back to Rugby League. Young Riley is back in Rugby League with West Tigers. Will that be a shrewd move? We don't know. But he's there for 22 and 23, no matter what happens. Tell me what your thoughts are on the results today. Are the Dragons going to go on a run now after their victory? It was a surprising one against Souths, to be fair. Two different form teams, and last week's side, St. George side, was completely different in mental attitude, defensive intent and attacking intent in that first half than what was their result last time out. I commented on social media that only 2 players would make another NRL side if they played like that. Anyway, remember, comments in the video comment section below. But in the meantime, please remember to share this video worldwide. In the meantime, I wish you all the best, so please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.